Linear is even easier. It's just perfectly straight lines. You can see how the tangent types go exactly straight. So that's linear, and it will give us a bit of a jerky sort of an animation. You can sort of see that going through like that. Just undo this a little ways so we're back here. So then we've got the stepped mode, which we've seen before, but this one, if we do it on the entire object, will on the current keyframe keep that going really flat and then snap it across, and then we're going to come across here until the next keyframe and snap it. So it's just a one frame, there is no interpolation anymore. And probably the most interesting thing to realize about the step keyframes, just to switch them all back, I'm going to switch them all back to auto that way, is that if we are in here and we do select one keyframe, it can be a little bit confusing, but if we do go stepped, it's doing it sort of to the next keyframe becomes the stepped one, because the current frame wants to keep the same time. So that's sort of how it works. It's a little bit confusing that will happen. If you do want that keyframe to be sharp, you don't select that keyframe because that will do it to the next one. So if we wanted that keyframe to be jaggy, we actually couldn't do it that way, and that's where if we come into the tangents and we actually go step next, that will do the reverse. So you can actually do tangent type step next is the sort of the reverse way of doing it, but by default it certainly makes sense just to go normal step if you are doing it to the entire animation. And of course we can often go right click, enable step preview mode on and off, and that will tangent all the menus. Even if we're in auto, we can just sort of temporarily get into that to step key mode, and we can get back out of it nice and quickly, and that won't destroy if we've got interesting tangents too. Also just come out and back into it. So that's a really handy one to know about, that step preview, as we've discussed before. We'll do one more easy one, and that's flat tangents. And flat tangents on this won't actually change anything, but what it does do is, if we're in the spline mode, is it makes every single tangent just go horizontal. Very easy. So no matter where we are, all the tangent types will be horizontal, and that's good for slow in and slow out when you want an object to slow down and stop, rather than with the linear, it's going to just go bam and stop, or with spline, it's going to do what we call overshoot. It'll hover around a little bit on that up angle there. Just going to get rid of these other keyframes here. Then we'll just delete those, so it's only moving on one axis to be a little bit more accurate. The overshoot happens there and on the bottom.